Much old end a bit left. And to whom? I suppose you wanted to be first.
Well, Inspector, since you are clearly alleging that I am a tittle-tattling busybody, I will bid you good day. Come, Mr. Stringer.
Good morning everyone, how you doing? It's Paul here from Unusual Things. Now this morning we are at St James's Church. We're just outside of London, just to the west of London, a place called St Gerard's Cross. And we've come today to find the final resting place of Dame Margaret Rutherford. Now you may remember her. She was the lady who, of course, played Agatha Christie's Miss Marple in about 5 or 6 movies. I'll tell you a little bit more about that real soon. Don't forget, if you like the video today, please give it a thumbs up. I've got leaky eyes. Do you know what? It feels like hay fever season, even though it's not, it's autumn. We're at the end of October, well, middle of October, but I don't know what's going on with the world right now. Anyway, if you like the video today, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And of course, you know, hit that notification bell and you'll be notified as to when new videos come out. I'll tell you a little bit more about Dame Margaret Rutherford in a moment. Yeah, we'll get to hear a little bit more about her life story, but look at this place. It's gorgeous today. It's absolutely lovely. It's nice to have the sun out. There's supposed to be torrential rain, but fingers crossed. I think we've escaped it so far. Let's carry on, shall we? Dame Margaret Taylor Rutherford, DBE, 11th of May 1892 to the 22nd of May 1972, was an English actress of stage, television and film. Rutherford's early life was overshadowed by tragedies involving both of her parents. Her father, journalist and poet William Rutherford Ben, married Florence Nicholson on the 16th of December 1882 in Wandsworth, South London. 1 month after the marriage, he suffered a nervous breakdown and was admitted to Bethnal House Lunatic Asylum. Released to travel under his family's supervision, he murdered his father, the Reverend Julius Ben, a congregational church minister, by bludgeoning him to death with a chamber pot before slashing his own throat with a pocket knife at an inn in Matlock, Derbyshire, on the 4th of March 1883. Following the inquest, William Ben was certified insane and removed to Broadmoor Criminal Lunatic Asylum. 7 years later, on the 26th of July 1890, he was discharged from Broadmoor and reunited with his wife. He legally dropped his surname. Margaret Taylor Rutherford, the only child of William and Florence, was born in 1892 in Balham, South London. Margaret's uncle, Sir John Ben, 1st Baronet, was a politician, and her first cousin once removed was the Labour politician Tony Benn. Hoping to start a new life far from the scene of recent troubles, the Rutherfords emigrated to India, but Margaret was sent back to Britain when she was 3 years old to live with her Aunt Bessie Nicholson in Wimbledon, South London, after her pregnant mother hanged herself from a tree. Young Margaret had been told that her father died of a broken heart soon afterward. When she was 12 years old, she was shocked to learn that her father had actually been readmitted to Broadmoor Hospital in 1903, where he remained until his death on the 4th of August 1921. Her parents' mental afflictions gave rise to fear that she might succumb to similar circumstances, a fear that haunted her for the rest of her life. She suffered intermittent bouts of depression and anxiety. Margaret Rutherford was educated at Wimbledon High School, now a theatre space, the Rutherford Centre, named after her, and from the age of 13 at Ravenscroft Boarding School in Sutton Avenue, Seaford. When she was there, she developed an interest in theatre and performed in amateur dramatics. After she left school, her aunt paid for her to have private acting lessons. When her aunt died, she left a legacy that allowed Rutherford to secure entry to the Old Vic School. In her autobiography, Rutherford called her Aunt Bessie her adoptive mother, and one of the saints of the world. Rutherford, a talented pianist, first found work as a piano teacher and a teacher of elocution. She developed an acting career relatively late, making her stage debut in 1925, aged 33, at the Old Vic. As her spaniel jowls and bulky frame made being cast in romantic heroine roles impossible, she established her name in comedy, appearing in many of the most successful British plays and films. "I never intended to play for laughs. I am always surprised that the audience thinks me funny at all," Rutherford wrote in her autobiography. She made her first appearance in London's West End in 1933, but her talents was not recognised by critics until performance as Miss Prism in John Gielgud's production of The Importance of Being Earnest at the Globe Theatre in 1939. Although she made her film debut in 1936, it was Rutherford's turn as Madame Arcati in David Lean's film of Blithe Spirit 1945 that established her in films. Her jaunty performance, cycling about the Kent countryside, head held high, back straight and cape fluttering behind her, established the model for portraying that role thereafter. She was Nurse Carey in Miranda 1948 and the sprightly medieval expert Professor Hatton Jones in Passport to Pimlico in 1949, one of the Ealing comedies. She reprised her stage roles of the headmistress alongside Alistair Sim in The Happiest Days of Your Life, 1950, and Miss Prism in Anthony Asquith's film, adaptation of The Importance of Being Earnest, 1952. More comedies followed, including Castle in the Air with David Tomlinson, Trouble in the Store with Norman Wisdom, The Runaway Bus with Frankie Howerd, and An Alligator Named Daisy with Donald Sinden and Diana Dawes. Rutherford worked with Norman Wisdom again in Just My Luck, and co-starred in The Smallest Show on Earth with Virginia McKenna, Peter Sellers and Leslie Phillips. She starred alongside Ian Carmichael and Peter Sellers in the Bouting Brothers' satire I'm All Right Jack. In the early 1960s, she appeared as Miss Jane Marple in a series of 4 George Pollock films, loosely based on the novels of Agatha Christie. The films depicted Marple as a colourful character, respectable but bossy and eccentric. Authors Marion Shaw and Sabine Vaneker, in their book Reflecting on Miss Marple, 1991, complained that the emphasis on the dotty element in the character missed entirely the quaintness and sharpness so admired in the novels. The actress, then aged in her 70s, insisted on wearing her own clothes for the parts and having her husband appear alongside her. In 1963, Christie dedicated her novel The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side to Margaret Rutherford, in admiration. Though the novelist was critical of the films for diverging from her original plots and playing dramatic scenes for laughs. Rutherford reprised the role of Miss Marple in a very brief, uncredited cameo in the 1965 film The Alphabet Murders. She played the absent-minded, impoverished, pill-popping Duchess of Brighton, the only comedy relief in the V.I.P.s 1963, from a screenplay by Terence Rattigan. The film features a star-studded cast led by Maggie Smith, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. For her performance, she won an Academy Award and Golden Globe Awards for Best Supporting Actress. At the time, she set a record for the oldest woman and last born in the 19th century to win an Oscar. She appeared as Mistress Quickly in Orson Welles' film Chimes at Midnight and was directed by Charlie Chaplin in A Countess from Hong Kong, starring Marlon Brando and Sophia Loren, which was one of her final films. She started work on The Virgin and the Gypsy in 1970, but illness caused her to be replaced by Faye Compton. In 1945, Rutherford, 53, married character actor Stringer Davis, 46, after a courtship that lasted for 15 years. Davis' mother reportedly considered Rutherford an unsuitable match for her son, and their wedding was postponed until after Miss Davis had died. Subsequently, the couple appeared in many productions together. Davis adored Rutherford, with one friend noting, for him she was not only a great talent above all, but beauty. The actor and former serviceman rarely left his wife's side, serving Rutherford as a private secretary. He also nursed and comforted her through periodic debilitating depression. These illnesses, sometimes involving stays in mental hospitals and electric shock treatment, were kept hidden from the press during Rutherford's lifetime. In the 1950s, Rutherford and Davis unofficially adopted writer Gordon Langley Hoare, later Dawn Langley Simmons, then in her 20s, who later wrote a biography of Rutherford in 1983. Rutherford suffered from Alzheimer's disease at the end of her life and was unable to work. Davis cared for his wife at the Buckinghamshire home until her death on the 22nd of May 1972, aged 80. Many of Britain's top actors, including Sir John Gielgud, Sir Ralph Richardson, Dame Flora Robson and Joyce Grenfell, attended a memorial service of Thanksgiving at the Actors' Church at St Paul's Covent Garden on the 21st of July 1972, where 90-year-old Dame Sybil Thorndike praised her friend's enormous talent and recalled that Rutherford had never said anything horrid about anyone. Rutherford and Davis, who died in 1973, are interred at the graveyard of St James's Church, Gerrard's Cross, Buckinghamshire. A blithe spirit is inscribed on the base of Margaret Rutherford's memorial stone. a reference to the Noël Coward play that helped to make her name. Now, of course, as we're walking around today, I've spotted a church door. I don't know whether it's open or not. And you know what? There's only one way to find out, really, isn't there? It's locked. Oh well, it's always worth a try, isn't it? So there's all the information there on Dame Margaret Rutherford, and what an amazing lady she was. Led an amazing life as well. Tremendous actress. If you haven't seen any of her movies, go and watch them. They're really good. And the old Miss Marple ones are absolute classics, aren't they? Get your brain thinking for a little while. See if you can solve the clue. I never could. I couldn't even solve a Scooby-Doo TV show, so I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, just had to stop filming there because a gentleman was asking me what I was doing here, which is cool. It's perfectly normal. I see you with a camera walking around a churchyard or a cemetery. So anyway, we've been having a little good look around, and he didn't even know that Margaret Rutherford was buried here. So I just sort of told him, let's have a little walk over, shall we? And you know what? I think I found it. Here we are. To loved memory of Margaret Rutherford, DBE, actress. May the 11th, 1892 to May the 22nd, 1972. Dear wife of J.B. Stringer Davis and James Buckley Stringer Davis. James Buckley. He's from the In-Betweeners, isn't he? June the 4th, 1899 to August the 29th, 1973. So there we have the final resting place there of Margaret Rutherford. A tremendous actress. She really did play Miss Marple so well. She obviously done other things. And of course her husband, Stringer Davis, James Buckley Stringer Davis. I wonder if that's related to James Buckley from the In-Betweeners at all. James or your wife, if you ever watch this, Claire, sorry, if you ever watch this, get in contact and let me know. But anyway, got to say a massive thank you to Margaret Rutherford, Dame Margaret Rutherford, an amazing actress there, who was just great, you know, the old Agatha Christie stuff, you know, to be in that, to be an actress in those wonderful films. And if you haven't seen her, go and check her out. And you know, they had a bit of a tough life beforehand, before getting together, with his mum not wanting them to marry, and having to wait for her to pass away and things like that. So yeah, a really interesting life. But anyway, there you go. If you know anything, or if you're a big fan of Dame Margaret Rutherford at all, please leave your comments down below. If you liked the video today, please hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And yes, from this beautiful place, whilst the sun is still out, I will leave and just chill. St. Gerard's Cross. I will see you all on the next one. Take it easy. Ta-da.